Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my next video. Hope you're all doing fine, and today I'm gonna finish this story. I said it yesterday, The Shocks of Doom. Let's do this. The vagrant leaped to his feet and raised both trembling arms above his head. He caught his breath and moaned hysterically. Valence seized his arm and forced him back to the bench. "Be quiet," he commanded, with something like disgust in his tones. One would think you had lost a fortune instead of being about to acquire one. Of what are you afraid? Ida cowered and shivered on the bench. He clung to Valence's sleeve, and even in the dim glow of the Broadway lights, the latest disinherited. One could see drops of the other's brow wrung out by some strange terror. "Why, I'm afraid something will happen to me before morning. I don't know what. Something to keep me from coming into that money. I'm afraid a tree will fall on me. I'm afraid a cab will run over me, or a stone drop on me from a housetop, or something. I never was afraid before. I've sat in this park 100 nights, as calm as a given image without knowing where my breakfast was to come from. But now it's different. I love money, Dawson. I'm happy as God when it's trickling from my fingers, and people are bowing to me with the music and the flowers and fine clothes all around. As long as I knew I was out of the game, I didn't mind. I was even happy sitting here, ragged and hungry, listening to the fountain jump and watching the carriages go up the avenue. But it's in reach of my hand again now, almost, and I can't stand it to wait 12 hours, Dawson. I can't stand it. There are 50 things that could happen to me. I could go blind. I might be attacked with heart disease. The world might come to an end before I could." Eddie sprang to his feet again with a shake. People stirring on the benches and began to look. Valence took his arm. "Come and walk," he said soothingly, "and try to calm yourself. There is no need to become excited or alarmed. Nothing is going to happen to you. One night is like another." "That's right," said Ida. "Stay with me, Dawson. That's a good fellow. Walk around with me a while. I never went to pieces like this before, and I've had a good many hard knocks. Do you think you could hustle something in the way of a little lunch or old man?" I'm afraid my nerves too far gone to try any panhandling. Valence led his companion up almost deserted Fifth Avenue, and then westward along the 330s towards Broadway. "Wait here a few minutes," he said, leaving Ida in a quiet and shadowed spot. He entered a familiar hotel and strolled towards the bar quiet in his old assured way. "There's a pool devil outside, Jimmy," he said to the bartender, who says he's hungry and looks it. "You know what they do when you give them money. Fix up a sandwich or two for him. I'll see that he doesn't throw it away." "I'll see." "Certainly, Mr. Wallens," said the bartender. "They ain't all fakes. Don't like to see anybody go hungry." He folded a liberal supply of the free lunch into a napkin. Wallens went with it and joined his companion. Heidi pounced upon the food ravenously. "I haven't had any free lunch as good as this in a year," he said. "Aren't you going to eat any, Dawson?" "I'm not hungry, thanks," said Wallens. "We'll go back to the square," said Heidi. "The cops won't bother us there. I'll roll up the rest of this ham and stuff for our breakfast. I won't eat any more. I'm afraid I'll get sick. Suppose I die of cramps or something tonight and never get to touch that money again. It's 11 hours yet till time to see the lawyer. You won't leave me, will you, Dawson? I'm afraid something might happen. You haven't any place to go, have you?" "No," said Valance. Nowhere tonight. Nowhere tonight. I'll have a bench with you." "You take it cool," said Heidi. If you've told it to me straight, I should think a man put on a bum from a good job just in one day would be tearing his hair." "I believe I've already remarked," said Valance, laughing, that I would have thought that a man who was expecting to come into a fortune on the next day would be feeling pretty easy and quiet. It's funny business," philosophized Heidi, "about the way people take things anyhow. Here's your bench, Dawson, right next to mine. The light don't shine in your eyes here. Say, Dawson, I'll get a man to give you a letter to somebody about a job when I get back home. You've helped me a lot tonight. I don't believe I could have gone through the night if I hadn't struck you." "Thank you," said Wallens. "Do you lie down or sit up on this when you sleep?" For hours, Valence gazed almost without winking at the stars through the branches of the trees and listened to a sharp slapping of horses' hoofs on the sea or asphalt to the south. His mind was active, but his feelings were dormant. Every emotion seemed to have been eradicated. He felt no regrets, no fears, no pain or discomfort. Even when he thought of the girl, it was as of an inhabitant of one of those remote stars at which he gazed. He remembered the absurd antics of his companion and laughed softly, yet without a feeling of mirth. Soon the daily army of milk wagons made of the city a roaring drum, to which they marched. Valence fell asleep on his comfortless bench. At 10 o'clock the next day, The two stood at the door of Lawyer Mead's office in Ann Street. Eddie's nerves fluttered worse than ever when the hour approached, and Valens could not decide to leave him a possible prey to dangers he dreaded. When he entered the office, Lawyer Mead looked at them wonderingly. He and Valens were old friends. After his greeting, he turned to Eddie, who stood with white face and trembling limbs before the expected crisis. "I sent a second letter to your address last night, Mr. Eddie," he said. "I learned this morning that you were not there to receive it. It will inform you that Mr. Paulding has reconsidered his offer to take you back into favor. He has decided not to do so and desires you to understand that no change will be made in the relations existing between you and him." Eddie's trembling suddenly ceased. The color came back to his face, and he straightened his back. His jaw went forward half an inch, and a gleam came into his eye. He pushed back his battered head with one hand and extended the other, with leveled fingers, toward the lawyer. He took a long breath and then laughed sardonically. "Tell old Paulding he may go to the devil," he said loudly and clearly, and turned and walked out of the office with a firm and lively step. Lawyer Mead turned on his feet to Valens and smiled. "I'm glad you came in," he said genially. Your uncle wants you to return home at once." He reconciled to the situation that led to his hasty action and desires to say that all will be as... "Hey, Adams," cried Lawyer Mead, breaking his sentence and calling to his clerk. Bring a glass of water. Mr. Valens has fainted." Alright guys, thank you for joining me today on this video, and see you tomorrow on the next one. See you, bye.